It is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Got a quick fun one today. We learned how to do Faint by Linkin Park. So this is a massive hit. It takes two guitar players to do it right, but it's a pretty easy one to get in with your fingers and a fun one to play. So hopefully you guys will join along. It shouldn't take too long to get through this one. Before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell, all that stuff. And like I've been saying recently in videos, if you like guitar tutorial content on YouTube, support your guitar tutorial content creators. The guys that sit here and teach you songs or whatever, techniques, theory. YouTube is just really not promoting these channels anymore. And if you want to kind of stick around and give these people, a reason to stick around, support them. Whether it's this channel or another, guitar guy you watch. Support them in any way you can. If they have an academy, join it. If they just take donations on YouTube, whatever. If you don't have any money at all, just share their videos like what people used to do, and watch them. That really helps too. So just kind of keep this whole niche going. All it takes is, it doesn't take a massive community. You're never going to be like one of the, those huge entertainment channels, but we can still keep it going pretty well if we get enough people to support it, but it's just not happening that much anymore, so hopefully that'll change. Anyway, let's jump into, oh, by the way, my link to my academy is, I'm such a bad businessman. The link to my, in the description is the link to my academy. Free 7-day trial. Academy has all my courses. Free support from me, live streams with me every weekend. All right, that's enough of that. Let's go into the song. We are in drop C sharp tuning. So what is that? Well, it's basically first of all, you start with taking the entire guitar and tuning it down a half step. And then you take your 6th string and tune it down an additional whole step to put it into that drop tuning. If that went over your head, I'll just call it the notes. So it's tuning the low E string down to a C sharp. Then the A string down to a G sharp. The D string down to a C sharp. G string down to an F sharp. B string down to an A sharp. And the high E string down to a D sharp. And then you have hands-free rockery. All right, so let's jump into this. So this main riff is the inner is also the chorus of the song. And there's two distinct parts going on here. So we have, I guess, what you call the rhythm guitar part to it. Looks like this. All right, so let's go to start here. We obviously have that melody that's on top of it, which we'll cover next, and that really kind of makes the part sound like it is. But it's going to start here. Since we're in drop tuning, we can do these kind of mostly one-finger power chords, which is always great. So we have the open low E. I mean, it's a low C sharp now. It's going to mess me up the whole lesson. Then we'll just call them like a standard tuning. Anyway, 6th string, 5th string, 4th string. All right, so it's just down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Gonna let those last ones ring. And then this one, I'm gonna hold the 3rd fret there on the low string and the A string. And then the 5th fret there on the D string. I'm going to call them out like they're standard tune strings. I know they're not, but it makes it easier. So same rhythm on that. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Then just go back to that normal power chord shape, all at the 8th fret across the three bottom strings. Then we're going to move around a little bit quicker, but so far we have this. From here, you're going to do this. So you're not going to hold each one as long. It's going to start here at the 5th fret. So we're still using that same one-finger power chord. I'm playing that 3 times there at the 5th fret. So it's that same chord we did the 8th, just across the bottom 3 strings at the 5th fret now. And then up to the 7th fret. You can take the same finger and move it up, or just use a different finger. I like to use my ring finger there. So all 3 strings now across the 7th fret. Hit that twice, and then down to the 3rd fret. So this. So all together. Repeat. All right, now over that, of course, we have this octave riff. So it sounds like this. Now, if you don't know what an octave is, it's basically the same note if you went through the scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's the same note that you started with, just an octave higher up in the musical scale. So now on the guitar, generally those are played with a string in between them. So you have to learn how to mute that string. So octaves are really good for learning how to mute. You see that in my beginner course. How to properly play octaves is a great way to just learn how to generally mute on guitar altogether. But anyway, what we're going to be doing here, these octaves are all happening off the root 5th string here. So I have the 5th fret there on that A string, and then I'm playing the 7th fret here on the G string. Now you can use your pinky, you can use your ring finger or whatever, but what's important here is you're playing those 2 notes, and then the rest of the strings need to be muted. So I can hit all 6 strings there and you still just hear those 2, which are the same note, just an octave apart. So how am I doing that? Well, I'm muting the low E string there, well, I know it's a C sharp, by touching the bottom of it with the tip of my index finger. So basically this note right here is not just straight on this note, it's basically going a little bit past it. So the tip of it can touch that string above it and mute it. All right, now the index finger is also going to do all the rest of the muting as well too. It is just holding this note down here and just slightly touching this string, but it's now muting. It's kind of lightly, like I arced up so I can mute the D string and mute the B and the high E string. And you hear that note still, because that's in front of the whole mute, right? So if you put all that together, you have 4 muted strings, all the muting being done by your index finger, and then you have 2 notes being held. So you can hit all 6 strings if you want, and it doesn't matter, you're just gonna hear those. All right, so then we just basically do a melody with this chord shape. You'll see that done a lot if you wanted to kind of thicken up a sound and so you don't just have a, which wouldn't sound as good. You can really thicken it up. All right, so you need to learn to kind of move those shape around. So the shape stays the same, but I'm going to call it the fret that the index finger is at. So it starts at the 5th fret. We play it there, and then you come all the way up to the 12th fret, but everything stays the same. The shape stays the same. So this is 12th fret on the A, 14th on the G there, and then all the strings around it are muted. Then down to the 10th fret, then back to 12. Oh, sorry about it. Hit that a couple more times. Then back up to 12. Then down to 8. Remember, I'm calling out the fret number from where the index finger is at. This one just kind of dragged along with it. So wait this. Just repeat from there. So kind of the strumming is, and right here, he's gonna let that ring for a bit. So kind of straight down, up, down, up. Right here. So I let that ring, and then I came back with up, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down. You know, so the whole key with the strumming is to keep the arm just moving, even if it's not hitting the strings. That's how you keep your time. then we get to the verse. There's a lot of pausing here in the verse here, so we're just gonna, you have to count some things out. It's like you'll hit the two notes, the chord twice, and then you just pause for like 4 measures and then hit it again. So it kind of looks like this. There's a little bit, some big gaps. So I'll kind of count out the measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so a lot of pausing there. Makes more sense when you just listen to the song. You have the vocals go on there. It doesn't sound as boring. But anyway, that's what's going on. Those are the only where the guitar hits. There's a lot of other instrumentation that can be going on and stuff. And obviously the vocals, I think there's rapping going there. So anyway, we start with basically it's the bottom 3 strings, just a down up with them real quick. And then there's just that really waiting for about 4 measures till you do it again. And then you wait 4 measures again, and then there's those 2 hits again, but this time it's gonna be a pause of just like 2 measures. And then you're gonna go up to the 8th fret here. So basically we had, if you listen to the track, there's gonna be that, that down up on the open strings done 3 times, okay? With some pauses in between. And then it's gonna finally get to the 8th fret here, that 8th fret power chord we did earlier across the 3 bottom strings. 2 hits, that's a quick down up there. And then there's just a 1 measure, pause until the beginning of the next measure. And we have this next chord here. And so basically that is going to be, it's like a root 5th power chord shape. So that's what's basically is the power chord, but to kind of invert it and put the 5th in the bass, but makes it sound bigger. So that's the 5th fret there on the D string, 3rd on the A, and then 5th on this low string, the low C sharp. You just hit that, and that takes you basically to the, you start hearing kind of, you start hearing that kind of start coming in. There's also those effects that kind of being played on keyboards and stuff like that, or I don't know, some kind of synth effect or whatever. But then it gets back to the chorus again. So the chorus is pretty much the same as was played at the intro of the song, except there's a little ending that they add to it. So this ending, to see if you can pick it up, I'll just kind of like play through the chorus the very last time I play in the riff. So you can see that. So basically, instead of going straight back to the verse there, it does this. Kind of has that. So it goes back to that chord that we played. That's the 2nd chord in the verse. In the chorus, and it strums that at the end of the chorus. So then it goes to the verse. So for the octaves, it's kind of the same thing too. He just kind of holds on that last octave. So it goes. Kind of holds that a little bit longer while that chord's doing that down there. So other than that, the chorus is the exact same. Just put that little extension on the very end of it. Then it gets back to the same verse, which is the same kind of hits with all the pausing, but it's done the exact same way. And then the same chorus happens again that we just did with that little extension at the end. So nothing new there. And then we get to the bridge. So the bridge has a cool riff that moves around a little bit quicker too as well. So this riff looks like this. All right, so that's gonna start with those bottom 3 strings open. Then, like we said, you can play this with any finger you want. 7th fret on the across those 3 strings. So all these power chords are happening on the bottom 3 strings. So it's just 1 finger, 7. So 0, 7. Then down to the 3rd fret across those 3 strings. Then the 2nd fret. Then back to 3. Then back to the 2nd. So this. All right, and then when we repeat that, we're gonna put a little upbeat before it with the open strings. And then we start the riff over. So basically there's gonna be 2 open hits first. So this goes, basically one comes in on the upbeat. So we have this to start it, the first one through. And then on the up. So it's like da da. So that's gonna start with an upstroke. So the first one starts with a downstroke. Then up. Then we just start over basically back with that downstroke without the little upbeat added before. So you play that riff basically 4 times. So here it is slow. Repeat. Two more times. All right, and so basically we go from there. It's kind of it goes back into the chorus. The chorus now is played longer, so it's extended, played like 4 times through. But at the end, we have a different type of little ending. It's basically how they end the song, something they haven't done before. So it's not that same ending we had to the chorus. It's not that anymore. So I'll play the chorus riff a couple of times here. Just the riff a couple times, and then I'll play that ending that you can kind of see, and then I'll show you what's doing. The octaves change a little bit too there too. So instead of playing the chorus all the way through as long as it does at the end of the song, I'll just play the riff a couple times, and then I'll put that ending on it so you can see what it is in context. So it looks like this. So it was pretty much just that. Coming out of this, instead of going to that chord, which we were doing to leave the chorus before, we're gonna do this. Hold this. And then so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here at the 3rd fret without adding that note at the 5th fret, just the straight power chord. And then take it down to the 1st fret across those 3 bottom strings. And hit that 3 times. So we have this. 1, 2, 2. So it's just something they do at the very end of the song there. So the octaves that go along with that are gonna have to match that. So before we were holding that the entire time while we're doing this. It's gonna do this now. So I'll just show you that real quick, and then I'll show you it in context too, like I did with the full riffs here. So that's just that octave that we ended the chorus with at the 8th fret. 1. Once again, hit 5 times. And then take it down to the 6th fret. And that's what's going on when you're hitting that at the chords underneath it at the 1st fret. So you hit that 3 times. So altogether, in context, I'll play the octaves through a couple times with that ending. A couple times through, and then I'll put that ending on so you see what it looks like. So it is. All right, and that is it for Faint. It's a pretty short song, but kind of a really well done track. It's just it really rocks and moves. It got some good melodies to it, and some good guitar counterparts. Let's just say that 2 guitar players working together well to create a bigger sound. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.